if our brain is interpreting our environment as a threat at some sub-threshold level, then we are constantly being stimulated or triggered into a little bit of fight or flight. And if that's happening over and over and over again, pretty soon your system starts to create more tension. They did a study with heart rate variability that whenever heart rate variability or a stressful event would happen, on ultrasound, the fascia in the lumbar spine would be tighter. So every time we have stressful events, our whole body's reacting, our nervous system's reacting, our fascia's reacting. So how do we decrease some of this input? How do we decrease these triggers at a subconscious level? How do we help our nervous system interpret the environment better? And so if you can figure out for yourself, I call it sort of our back off layer. If you can figure out where your back off layer is, and is it in certain areas bigger than it should be, so that, you know, that bird flies by and your system flinches because it thinks it's a threat, because at some point you were hit in the face with a baseball when you were a kid. Now anything that goes by is at some subconscious level triggering your brain to, oh my gosh, there's a threat. Our brain is designed to protect us. It's doing that. I saw a rattlesnake on a run once, and every time for like 3 years after that, I passed that bush, I would look for it. It wasn't there, but my brain was like, hey, there was a threat there once. You better check again. And I think at some level that's happening all the time based on our life experiences, based on our traumas, our events that interpret how we perceive the world. And so if you can learn how to scan your own back off layer and downregulate that. And what do I mean by downregulate? Help it not be so big and hypervigilant, but interpret the environment appropriately, right? If someone's coming in to give you a hug is very different than someone's coming in to yell at you, and your brain has to interpret that. So if your brain at this quick subconscious level can interpret that better, maybe you can decrease some of these stimulus or these triggers that are causing your system to constantly be in higher and higher and higher fight or flight. And maybe then you won't need as much work on the vagus nerve. And so I'm going to teach you that in this exercise. And so what I want you to think of is, if you feel your back off layer, we all have a sort of sense of where we start and stop. If you can feel that layer and then scan your body, so I'm going to use my right hand, and let's say like had a lot of dental work here. So I can bring my hand over and I might feel in certain areas that my hand feels more irritating to me. You can see I even scrunch. Like as I come here, I'm like, oh, I don't like my hand there. And so then I can say, okay, so somewhere here, my brain remembers a threat or an event or a trauma or whatever it is. Even if you're put under, your brain still remembers. So then I say, okay, where is that layer that my body says that no longer feels threatening, and it's beyond the range of this camera. And so what you do is, let's say it's right here. You're going to start at that layer and bring your hand in really slowly until you touch your cheek or the area that's bothering you. It could be over my shoulder. It could be over my arm. It could be over the back of my head. It could be over my hip. Wherever you might have had an insult, a trauma, an event, your brain will become more hypervigilant in that area. So how does this bringing in really slow work? Well, my theory is this. When you move in somewhere new, you can hear the freeway, you can hear the fridge. But after you've been there a while, you stop hearing it. When you first move in, your brain is like, I'm in a new environment. Are these threats, friend or foe? Am I safe or not? Right? Our brain wants safety and predictability. After a while, your brain starts to filter that by accommodation, because it's like, that's not a threat. I know that noise. And it becomes background. You don't hear it anymore. So if you can bring your hand in really, really, really slow, and you keep telling your brain, in this moment, you do this when you're in a safe place too, right? You want to set the stage. In this moment, I am safe. Then you come in super, 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 super slow. I'm going faster than I would even for this, because here it feels too intense. And if you're doing this and it feels too intense, take a break. And you come back and you repeat that until you feel like you can get your hand. I can't go any closer. My body's like, you can make this video, but you can't do this exercise. So I need to do this for myself, because I've had a lot of dental work, in a quiet, safe space where I can take the time until I can get my hand all the way to my cheek and my skin and touching without it creating a feeling of tension or protectiveness in my nervous system. And so you want to do this to any areas over and over again until you can come in. So let me just pick another area. Till I can come in perfectly fine, doesn't bother me, right? And so doing this can help downregulate your nervous system. And I want you to think about this. You might have pain in an area. You might have gone to get massages and dry needling and therapies and all sorts of things, and the pain just won't go away. Because every time that person comes in to touch you with the best intention, your nervous system still at some subconscious level is perceiving it as threat and maybe doesn't let the fascia and everything completely let go. So maybe try this on your areas first, clear them all up, and then get the body work so your brain isn't protecting at that subconscious level and you can receive the work to really clear up the mechanical fascial problems that might be there. But this is truly to work with your subconscious protective layer of your body and helping downregulate that so that your nervous system can interpret your environment a little bit better. And hopefully you won't be in as much fight or flight. So I hope this helps.